we need to stop, because what ends up happening is they do us more harm than good by doing that. Because when they force themselves to get on that field, like what happened with Ronnie Stanley 2 years ago, when he wasn't ready, they get injured and we lose them for the whole year or the majority of the year. And then what happens, we struggle because that position is not stable. We can't find an equipped replacement for that. What is going on, Ravens flock? My name is Drastic, and I want to welcome you guys back to another video on our YouTube channel, Flock and Ravens. And on today's video, we're going to be talking about Marlon Humphrey's return from injury. As many of you guys already know, Marlon Humphrey is currently out due to injury. He got a foot surgery to heal up something that he's been dealing with for a couple of months, and he's out. Right. And Marlon Humphrey has a podcast that is called Punchline Podcast with Marlon Humphrey, where he releases 1 or 2 episodes per week. I really recommend you guys to follow that podcast, listen to it, because it's very interesting what he has to say. Honestly, it's very, very interesting, very entertaining. But anyways, on this podcast, today he released an episode where he kind of gave a update on his injury, when he's expected to come back, and all of that. And I'm going to share with you guys a couple of clips from the podcast of today's episode, okay? So let's play the first one.
Secondly, now that I'm talking about electric energy, I liked the vibe yesterday in M&T Bank as a
He's talking about the game. The Texans game, week 1.
I took a lap around the stadium yesterday.
Inside the stadium?
Inside the stadium.
At what point during the game?
I think it was halftime.
You walked around the inside of M&T at halftime?
Yes.
Just to get the vibes?
Yo.
I got a lot of looks.
No one stopped you, though?
Only one lady stopped me. Everyone just goes like, is that Marlon Humphrey? Like,
Hey, yo, shout outs to the lady that stopped Marlon Humphrey, that recognized him and stopped him, right? Because I'm be honest, I was at the game. If I would have saw him, I'm not letting Marlon Humphrey just walk past me. I'm gonna go say what's up to him and get my picture. But shout outs to the lady who actually stopped him, and I don't know if she took a picture of him or not, but yeah.
That's how it was like. You obviously don't think I'll be walking around, but I walked around. I mean, I was kind of, head down a little bit, didn't want to attract too much attention. But we had a nice daggone stadium. Back to electric. We lost electric.
Very nice stadium.
I felt the anxiousness of the fan base for this year.
Yes, I mean, everybody is literally very excited every single year for the season to start, because obviously we want to see football, right? But this year is obviously very different. It's very different because of what we know we can do with these new weapons, right? And obviously some players that are returning, like David Ojabo, Odafe Owe, we're like really excited. There's just too much to be excited for. So yes, this year fans are obviously super excited.
Okay, I felt that. And I feel like, weirdly, obviously I was not playing, so maybe too much was going on. Maybe too much was going on. I don't know. But, I feel like I hadn't felt that in a while.
I will say, we were in the
2019
building as well. We've been going to Ravens games for 2 decades at this point. 100% a different energy in the stadium.
I'm just telling you, I hadn't felt that in a while.
2019.
It just was a little, even though it takes me back to, even though we weren't really, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, it was different. There we go. So electric.
Yo, shout outs to the Flock game, because y'all really showed out at this game. Like, normally when you see a game either televised or in person, when you go to the stadium, you'll see like 10% of the stadium is the away team's fan base, right? But this time, bro, like when you walk around that whole stadium, it's all Ravens. Like there is no way even like 5% of the stadium was Texans fans. It was all Ravens, right? So this year it's definitely different. And I think we all know why it's different, because we clearly have a vision. Well, we know as fans, we know that this is going to be the best chance we're going to get with Lamar and all these weapons to get a Super Bowl, right? Especially with this new offense and everything. This is our best shot. And that's why it's different. That's why the fans are more invested. Obviously, the flock has always been invested. Don't get it twisted. We always been invested. We always been about it, right? But this year, it's different. Like Marlon Humphrey said, it's different. And shout out to the flock. Yo, for real, shout out to the flock, because we showed out. And like I said on the last video, you felt that energy. It honestly felt like we were all on the field with each of those players. It just felt very different. And this is why I'm telling you guys, every Ravens fan has to go to at least one game at M&T Bank. Forget away game. I'm not talking about, go when the Ravens are playing in Ohio and Orlando, and forget all that. No. You guys have to come watch a game in Baltimore, M&T Bank Stadium, all right? At least one time. And with that being said, I just want to remind you guys, this channel is going to be giving away 2 tickets to one of our subscribers for the game of Bengals versus the Ravens, November 16. It's 8:15. It's a night game. And we're going to be giving away 2 tickets. All we have to do is obviously hit the 1,000 subscribers mark, and we're going to raffle away the tickets, right? So yeah, I hope that whoever wins gets to go to a Ravens game for the very first time and experience what it's like, because it's something different. It's something unique. Like, I don't know, you'll become a bigger fan than you were already before you went to the game. When you leave that stadium, you're going to be a huge Ravens fan. Trust me, it's a different experience. But anyways, let's go back to the next part that I wanted to talk to you guys about, which is where he discussed pretty much, what's going on with his injury and all of that, right?
I was gonna play. For some reason,
You're gonna be in the tub next week.
shoot, man, look here.
All right.
I thought I was. For some reason, I'm an optimistic guy. You know what I mean?
That's
I'm
a good
optimistic
thing.
Guy.
Always a good thing.
Like, for some reason, I thought, even though
You knew?
I was, yeah, I knew. I was like, week 1. I'm like, that's probably gonna happen. I'm like, week 1. Week 1. I don't want to hear what you're talking about. So I've made a list lately of just anyone that has said anything to me negative.
Like, even the doctors who are advising
Even the
you.
doctors.
You're like,
There's
nah.
a list. They said, like, even you, how you doing? What are you talking? You trying to talk crap? That's what I. Honestly, it's.
Hey, yo.
I'm gassed up. I am gassed up.
So what do we think? Week 2?
Like I said, I think I was gonna play week 1. I mean, shoot.
So it's just up to the doctors at this point. The haters, actually. It's
There
up
we go.
to the haters.
It's up to the haters.
Okay, so the haters are holding you back.
Haters are holding. I have said that exact quote many.
But anyways, let's break down this clip real quick. And I want to be very careful on how I say this, because I don't want you guys to think that I'm taking this out of context, because I know what he meant. He's pretty much saying that, yo, he's hungry, he's ready, he's been ready, and he's just anxious to get back on the field, right? But I do want to say something, because I feel like what's been happening a lot of the times with our players is that they're getting ahead of themselves, and they're getting on that football field knowing that they are not ready to get back on that field, but they feel pressure or they're anxious for whatever reason. And I feel that that's something that we need to stop, because what ends up happening is they do us more harm than good by doing that. Because when they force themselves to get on that field, like what happened with Ronnie Stanley, 2 years ago, when he wasn't ready, they get injured and we lose them for the whole year or the majority of the year. And then what happens? We struggle because that position is not stable. We can't find an equipped replacement for that player, right? So we don't need to do this over and over and over and over. That's what happened with J.K. Dobbins. That's why I went on a whole rant on the last video talking about fans need to stop bullying our players to get back on the football field. Like, you don't know their body. You don't know if they're ready or not. Don't just assume that J.K. Dobbins was not going to practice and whatever just because of contract reasons. No, no, no. You don't know if it's health reasons, like if he's not fully healed, right? So we need to stop bullying and pressuring our players to hurry back on the field, because what's going to happen? They're going to get re-injured, right? So with Marlon Humphrey, I know and I get it. He wants to get back out there. He wants to help the team win to a Super Bowl ring. He wants to do all of that. Great. But he needs to do it the right way, right? Let me know in the comments if you guys think that I'm tripping or if you guys agree with me, because I want Marlon Humphreys to come back when he's 100%, right? Because I want him for the long run. I want him in the playoffs. I want him in the Super Bowl. I don't want him just for week 2 and possibly week 3 and then he's out for the year. I don't want that, right? Same goes for Mark Andrews. I need them to come back when they're 100. I really don't want them to get re-injured. That's the worst thing that could happen, because these are key players that we're talking about. We're not talking about, backup players. We're not talking about practice squad players. We're talking about starters, right? We're talking about our starters. We're talking about key players that make a difference in a game, right? So we need them to obviously come back when they're healthy, so they could show us their full potential. Because another thing that ends up happening as well is they don't play like themselves when they're injured, right? And sometimes that can hurt the team, because that's when, if it's a receiver that we're talking about, they're dropping the ball. They're not getting to the ball on time. So we blame Lamar. Oh, he overshot it. No, this guy is not running to the speed that Lamar is used to having that player run, right? Or if it's a defender, the same thing. Like, he's not able to get to the receiver on time. So that's why they made a catch or whatever. Or they're not able to catch up because they're not fully healthy, right? So instead of that, we could have put in a backup that is 100% that could run to their top speed and all of that. So we need our players to also help our team by not hurting us. Of course, we want them to play. We're not saying, I'm not trying to say Marlon Humphrey is trash. The opposite. I want Marlon Humphrey back, but when he's 100%, just for his own health, right? Like, you want him to be okay, because could you imagine how hard it must be, like, for J.K. Dobbins, right? Like, you work your butt off, like, to get back on the field, and year after year after year, like, this just keeps happening to you. And then when it actually happens, that's when you're forced to analyze what happened, like the decisions you made. And then that's when you realize, like, man, I should have been more patient. Like, I should have, like, stopped myself from going out there, right? So it messes with your mentals. It does. Like, there is no way. And obviously, I hope and pray, and we all want all of our players to be okay. But I could imagine, like, it just hits them really hard, right? And pretty much all I'm trying to say with this video is I understand he's ready and he feels ready, but we do need that clearance from the doctors, right? Because it's not necessarily that they're being haters. I think that they're just looking at the best interest for Marlon's health and also for the team, right? Because we want Marlon here for the long run, right? And another thing that the team needs to work on, we need to set better standards with these players, right? We cannot just make them meet the minimum requirements to pass their physical, to get cleared, to get back on the fields. Like, no. It's one thing to get cleared, but You guys have to have a better relationship with your players, like a better trust, where they could tell you, like, hey, I know I passed, but I'm not 100%. And the team, the coaches, whoever's in charge of these decisions, they need to start making better decisions on this, right? Because it can't just be like, oh, he's clear to play and we need him, so throw him on the field. We need to stop doing that. We need to figure that out because it's not coincidence that we keep getting injured every single year. It's not. It is not. Something is going on. They have like a long leash on the players, and not just that, but on the coaching staff and everything. The fans we're giving these coaches a long leash because we keep blaming the players, but nobody is holding the coaching staff and no one's holding them accountable. All I've been seeing on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all social media is it's the player's fault. They're injury prone. I'm tired of this person. Like, that's what I keep hearing. And not only that, but we're bringing on players that we know get injured. Injury prone players. And we're expecting what? A miracle? Like, I like the Jadeveon Clowney signing. I'm okay with it. But he's a player that is known to get injured. He has a bunch of injury. Like, any injury that you could think of, this man has had it. And I hope that does not happen. Okay, I'm sorry I'm bringing it up. I know it seems like, oh man, you're wishing on his injury. No. That's not what I'm doing. All I'm telling you is that the Ravens, and even the fans, like, yo, at one point y'all were like, Chase Young. Bro, this guy gets injured. Why would you guys want to bring on a player that's known to get injured? Why? Forget that. We don't want players that get injured. We already have that issue. And then y'all going to complain and blame it on someone else. Somehow it's Lamar's fault that Chase Young got injured. That's what y'all do. But anyways, I feel that the team, the staff needs to do a better job in building a better communication with the players, right? Because you can't just go off but by what the doctors say. You also have to have that relationship with your players where they could tell you honestly, like, I'm good to go. And you have to know if they're telling you the truth or not. Like, I feel like they're not transparent. Like, they don't have that connection there yet. And that's something that they got to work on, right? Because like Marlon Humphrey, from the looks of it, Marlon Humphrey is just like, the moment I meet the minimum requirements, I'm on that field. That's what it sounds like to me. And on one side, it's great to hear that because it just shows how much heart and passion he has for the sport, for the team, for the city. But it also worries you because, like, you know what's the worst case scenario that could come out of that, right? And we would hate to see that. But anyways, let me know down in the comments what you guys think about the whole podcast. And again, I recommend you guys to check them out. It's called Punchlines Podcast with Marlon Humphreys. Check them out, subscribe to that channel, and also subscribe to this channel. Like I said, we need to reach 1,000 subscribers on this channel. And then we're gonna raffle away 2 tickets to the game, Bengals versus the Ravens on November 16th, 8:15 p.m. All right. So yeah, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Share this channel with a family or friend just to let them know what's the channel to come to if they want to get connected with the flock. And with that, I'm gonna see y'all on the next video.